Welcome back to Kishas Crumbs, where life is like a recipe. You do you and let them do them. Everything is so much better when you make it your own. Y'all, here in today's video, we have what I want to call a lazy man's broccoli and cheese casserole. Now, don't get offended because I'm referring to it as a lazy man's broccoli and cheese casserole. But I couldn't think of anything better to call it because it actually has Velveeta in the recipe. I normally don't use Velveeta for my cheese sauce, not in broccoli and cheese casserole, not in macaroni and cheese, not in anything. But I happen to have some Velveeta because I purchased some when it was on sale and I used it for an event for dip. So I said, you know what? It was a weekday, it wasn't a Sunday, and I thought I wanted to put together a quick and easy broccoli and cheese casserole. I had broccoli on hand, and if you know me, you know we're always going to go in with some vegetables. So I will tell you, this casserole turned out delicious. So don't be turned off by me calling it a lazy man's broccoli and cheese casserole. And don't be turned off that it has Velveeta inside. As long as you mix in some other nice quality cheeses, you can still come up with a delicious blend. Well, that's one thing you can see why it was delicious because I ended up throwing in a whole stick of butter. There's some fresh garlic. Yeah, I hadn't had broccoli and cheese casserole in so long. Oh my goodness, look at all the mushrooms. Those are fresh mushrooms, y'all, that I have washed and sliced up myself. They were whole and I sliced them up. So just keep in mind, y'all, with your veggies, with your produce, anytime it's fresh and you cut it up yourself, it's going to render more flavor in your recipes. So remember that. It's stages to everything, levels to everything. And that's why even if you don't like to cook all the time, you can find shortcuts and still cook at home. There's some more garlic. Now, this is the garlic puree. You can see there it's roasted. But my point is, y'all, just keep in mind, this is still not store-bought. This is still not full of a lot of preservatives as far as how I'm making it. Yes, of course, the cheese has preservatives in it, but I'm still getting a much more nutritious broccoli and cheese casserole because I'm making it at home versus getting it out of a restaurant or out of a box. So here we are with all of our fresh vegetables, our seasonings, as I like to call it. So you can see I have the rice there. A lot of times it is better to cook the rice the day before and just have it cold, use it cold when you put it inside your recipe. I'm showing you how fluffy and beautiful it is. But if you put your rice in cold, then your grains will stay separate more. But if you don't mind your rice kind of being more on the overcooked side, in which I don't, then it's okay to use rice that has been freshly cooked. But look at how beautiful that is, y'all. That's a whole stick of butter, about a half of a white onion. I would say a half of a white onion, a half of a red bell pepper, half of a yellow bell pepper as well. And then that was the cream of soup. So that's a cream of mushroom soup, cream of mushroom with roasted garlic. It is so delicious. I use this around the holidays. So you have to really look for when your cream of soups go on sale, y'all. When Campbell's cream of soup go on sale, go in and get all the soups you know that you normally use in your casseroles. Now, if you're making your casseroles with just heavy whipping cream and flavoring it yourself with bouillon and your vegetables, that's great too. But again, this is like, it's homemade, but it's a shorter way of doing it. So I'm showing you here that I have Velveeta, I have sharp cheddar, and then that yellow soft cheese is actually Munster, Muenster. Okay, so I got sharp yellow, Munster is a soft, really mild, creamy cheese. So let's add my cream element. And then I have my Velveeta. Okay? Now remember, this is what makes the flavor of your casserole delicious. You don't want it to be super thick because you have the cheddar, which doesn't stretch much. You have the Velveeta, which will be thick and rich. So I'm thinning it out with some of that carnation milk. And voila, here you go, y'all. Now this is how the cream sauce looks when it has everything mixed together. Well, what I was telling you about the vegetables, if you have the time, go ahead and chop up your own vegetables. It will make a much more flavorful casserole. Now, true enough, what's the other option? You can get them already cut up in the produce section. Well, that's still better than not using any vegetables at all. Vegetables are your seasoning. What's the other option? You can get veggies, onion, bell pepper that has been frozen. Well, that's not going to render as much flavor as your fresh vegetables, but it's better than not using it at all. Now, this is my secret, the nutmeg. Don't tell anybody. The nutmeg and cheese sauce is only for the people that are watching this video, only for my crumb catchers that are watching this video. And then you just saw me going in with a truffle and Parmesan cheese mix. That's a little other seasoning that I use from time to time that's special. Here we're going in with some celery salt because I always like to use celery in my broccoli and cheese casserole. That's another thing that made this one lazy. I didn't have any celery. Probably wouldn't have cut some up if I had it because I had plenty of what? Yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper, and onion. So I had plenty of fresh onion and bell pepper. Okay, so the celery salt was fine. We didn't use a lot of it because this is a cheese sauce. It already has salt in it, so you don't need a lot. But now you can see where we have the perfect texture. You have that creaminess that only comes from Velveeta. See there, that beautiful color. I have the finely chopped up vegetables. You got your roasted garlic cream of soup. Your roasted garlic puree is in there as well. Fresh mushrooms, carnation evaporated milk. Come on, y'all. Come on. Now, you know this got to be good. So remember, we went in with the nutmeg as well. Okay. Whenever you try your nutmeg, I actually tasted it and it needed just a little bit more. So you could try it out. Just make sure whenever you try it, don't put a lot in there. Just put a little in your cheese sauce. Stir it up and taste it and see, can you tell the difference it makes. It just kind of lifts the cheese sauce. It lifts the flavor of the cheese sauce. Gives it a little dimension. I'll say that. It's like, because nutmeg is an aromatic. So it gives a little dimension to your cheese sauce. But yes, y'all, look how beautiful this is. You can tell it's going to come out wonderfully. That's why I stirred in it for so long. You saw all those fresh mushrooms go in. And so now what I'm doing is I'm taking my broccoli. And this is, now you can use frozen broccoli. A lot of people like to use fresh broccoli in the broccoli and cheese casserole. It just depends. And then some people have more rice than they do broccoli. Some people have more broccoli than they do rice. I tend to use an equal amount, or if anything, I'm going to go on the heavier side with the rice, just because that's the way I'm used to my family making theirs. But you had the rice at the bottom. I put the broccoli. I always make sure the broccoli is chopped up. You want a combination of the stems and the florets. Don't just use the florets alone because they're going to turn mushy. They overcook fast, and it just doesn't make for a good broccoli and cheese casserole. You want the broccoli to be chopped up fine, but it needs to be the full broccoli pieces, not just florets. Okay? So now what we're doing is we're mixing everything together. And you can still tell here when you get ready to mix it with the rice that it's on the richer side. It's a little heavy. So if you want to thin it out, you could go in with even more milk. And you would also taste it once you mix it. I'm doing more of a fold. You can see it's gonna take me a while to get it mixed together because I'm not stirring it hard. You remember the rice was warm. The rice was warm and it's cooked fluffy, so you don't want to stir the hot cheese, the broccoli, and the rice. You don't want to stir that in, with too much pressure because you kind of mix and mush everything together. You want your pieces of broccoli, your veggies. You kind of want things to stay a little separate, but at the same time, you want to make sure that that cheese sauce is thoroughly folded into the entire casserole. So that's why instead of mixing in a circular motion, I'm kind of folding and just cutting the cheese inside of the rice mixture with the edge of that spoon. Okay, so now I'm showing you. It went in the oven. Remember, everything was pretty hot. So it went in the oven on 350 for, I would say, I think I started it at an hour. Look how beautiful those edges cooked up. The more well done portions of the casserole will always be around the edges. So for you people that like that, they can scoop from the edges. And then for those who they don't want their cheeses brown, they can scoop from the middle. But now I'm showing you what it looks like. It is a beautiful casserole. I love the way the red bell peppers look inside the casserole, because if you didn't have the red bell peppers, all you would see is yellow and green. So I like the pop of the red color. That's not something my family normally does, but we do use bell peppers, so the red just is for the color. But look how beautiful that is. Much different than my holiday broccoli and cheese casserole that I try to make more along the lines of how my late Aunt Jean made hers. But again, this is a quick and easy weekday version of broccoli and cheese casserole. I want y'all to see it from every angle. It's beautiful, hot, steamy. And this is when I was not eating meat. I wanted something hot and heavy. I had been eating salads for several weeks, but at dinner time, sometimes I would put something a little hot and heavy with it. So that's why I decided to make myself a broccoli and cheese casserole. Isn't it beautiful? Look at the mushrooms on top with a fresh garden salad. The salad has cranberries, nuts, and here are the ingredients, y'all. Frozen chopped broccoli. You have your red peppers. Oh, I did use some fresh celery after all. There are the cheeses, there are the mushrooms, there's a cream of soup. Everything is pictured there except the carnation milk. Don't forget about the carnation. I hope you enjoy. And remember, Kishas Crumbs. A life is like a recipe. Everything is better when you make it your own.